Hey y'all, I am gonna wait for some people to pop on before I start talking because I don't like talking to myself. Most of you guys probably don't like talking to yourself either, but when you guys pop on, if you would say hey, let me know that you guys are here. I'm so excited to chat with y'all. Funny story, I started this live a couple minutes ago, like a couple seconds, and I said, hey, and then I realized that I had something in between my two front teeth, and I refused to do the training like that. So I stopped it and had to go get that under control. But let me know where you are located if you are listening to this right now. If you're watching the replay, let me know and tell me something that you've really taken away from listening to these just amazing ladies so far. I'm honestly like shaking right now because I'm nervous to talk to y'all. And like I do trainings all the time now, so I'm not typically nervous, but okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started because I see you guys telling me where you're from. So I'm going to get started with just telling you a little bit about me. My name is Chastity Robinson. I am a superstar director for group Shine Your Light. And I'm just so honored to be here. I joined Scentsy in July of... I don't know if it was 2015 or 2014 at this point. I don't know, but Chloe Cox is my sponsor. I joined on the $49 join kit with less than $72 in my bank account. Didn't even tell Chloe I was going to join. I wasn't even sure if my card was going to go through. All I knew was that I loved Scentsy. I saw how amazing she was doing with it. She was in Las Vegas at Reunion at the time. They had just announced a Disney World incentive. For those of you that don't know my background, I went through a very abusive relationship, divorce, all the things. So I was a single mom at the time trying to take care of my son, and I was a teacher. And we all know that teachers don't make any money, like no money, right? And so just to even take care of my child, I was having to live with my mom, and like I didn't have enough money to buy groceries, much less support myself. But when I joined, I didn't originally join to do what I do now. I literally joined just to buy for myself. I told Chloe that. I said, I'm not going to be like your rock star seller. I'm just joining to buy for myself. Me and my mom are buying enough. Blah, blah, blah. And she was like, okay, we'll see. Also, I was selling something with another direct selling company at the time, and I had joined that company because I wanted some extra money. And long story short, I was selling both of those things, and Chloe had a hard conversation with me and said, look, Chastity, you're not going to be able to sell both of these and do well, or do it all 100%. And I thank God every day for that conversation. So I joined in July. I earned Shooting Star Certified Sensational Start Level 2, and I also earned Disney World as a star consultant. And that was my very first incentive. Like I said, I joined like the last day in July. I had earned that trip by October. I realized once I started getting my first paychecks that I was like, whoa, like this is pretty cool. I like this stuff. Anyway, fast forward, I have now been doing Scentsy for 5 years, and I was able to leave teaching this year. This is I guess I retired from teaching in August. I didn't go back after all of this COVID stuff happened, and it is the best decision that I ever made. But I didn't join to do that originally. But God put that on my heart, and God let me see that I was made for more, and that I needed to, once I realized that my situation with my son wasn't going to change, and that I had to take control, and that I wasn't going to get child support, and I was going to be the sole provider, and that at the end of the day, I was the only one that cared enough to take care of him, I knew that I had to do something, because sitting around feeling sorry for myself and just being a teacher wasn't going to get it done. Because I wasn't going to live a life where I had to tell my son no. I wasn't going to live a life where I had to ask my parents to buy clothes. I wasn't going to live a life where I had to worry if my card was going to get declined every time I went to the grocery store. I wasn't going to live a life where I was going to beg and wait for child support. That was just never going to come. And so once I made that decision, and once Chloe had that hard conversation with me and I went all in, I stopped that other direct sales. Not because Chloe had that conversation. She told me, pray about it. Let me know. I'm going to support you either way. But I really feel God telling me that you need to do one. And I prayed about it and I chose Scentsy. And once I chose to go all in with Scentsy, I earned director 3 months later. I promoted to star director a year later. And then I promoted to superstar director in 2019 in the summer. And I say all of that to say that there are people that are in situations that seem very, very hard to get out of, and they seem impossible, right? I don't know about you, but I felt very defeated. I felt very much like I couldn't win my life. I felt very much like this was going to be my life forever. And I felt very like, you can go watch my whole story on YouTube, but I felt very much like there was just nothing else left in my life. But I had my son, and I have an M tattooed right there on my wrist so that every decision that I made was for him. And once I made that decision, God gave me this business to completely change my life. And I need you to know that no matter what you're going through, no matter what God continues to put in your path, that you can either use all of those things that are happening to you as an excuse not to work your business, or you can use it as a damn reason. Because there's not a single person on this earth who can change your life but you. Nobody's coming to save you. Not your mama, not your grandma, not a police officer. For those of you that don't know, I'm married to a man that came to a 911 call on a domestic violence call. He came and he saved my life that day. But he couldn't pull me out of this situation. And I depended on a man before. I'd be damned if I have a man tell me what I can and can't do or what I can and can't buy. And I am not going to have to tell my son no because I don't have the money or I don't have the means or because I'm too sad. Because a lot of other people included, would have used everything that happened to them as an excuse to sit around and feel sorry for themselves instead of putting on their big girl panties and deciding to make a damn change. Because I know that there are so many people watching and that are waiting for me to fail. And there are so many people that have laughed at me the entire time that I've been working my business. But now I'm the one that can put my kids in the best private school. And I'm the one that doesn't have to let my job, my teaching job, kill me. Mentally, emotionally, physically, everything. And that's because I decided to use it as a reason. Scentsy can be your vessel for anything that you want. Anything that you want in this life, Scentsy can be your vessel. And I'm assuming because you're on this page that that's what you want. that you're not here as a hobbyist. I'm assuming and I'm hoping that the whole reason why you're on this page is because you want to dream big and because you don't want to be a victim to your excuses. You want to be a survivor and you want to break the generational curses that have been going on within your family, because that's what I'm doing. And I know that there are so many other of you that are listening to this right now and that may hear this in the future, that you are going to break generational curses. And I pray that for you. So anyway, that is a little bit about who I am and why I am talking to you guys today. So now we are going to talk about dreaming big, and we're going to talk about a couple things, okay? So I did this with my leaders this week on our leadership call. Okay, so I'm going to go through this quickly for sake of time, but I want you to think about where you want your Scentsy business to be in the next 5 years. I want you to think really deep. I want you to think really hard. I want you to envision it. I want you to envision where you would wake up. I want you to envision what a day in your life would look like. What would be your dream life? Nothing is too big or too outrageous. Stop putting limits. This business has no limit. The only limit is you. So I want you to think really hard and I want you to envision it, because it's possible. I didn't believe it at first either. But once you start believing it, everything will change for you. Now, if you envisioned a title, a lot of people do. They want to get to superstar director. They want to get to director. They want to get to star director. They want to get to whatever title it is. A lot of people envision that. I can't lie to you. It is so cool and it is so amazing to promote to each one of those titles. Nobody can take that away from you. But at the end of the day, nobody else in Scentsy knows what the heck that means. Nobody else knows what that means. So in 5 years, is your title actually going to matter? Because let me tell you something, if your goal is just to get to superstar director, your goal's not big enough. What in the heck are you going to do when you get there? I was guilty of that. What else do you have to reach for if your goal is just to get to superstar director? You've got to dream bigger than that. That can be part of your goal, but that's not your big astronomical, make you jump out of bed, never gonna quit goal. It can't be. When you look back on your life, you're not going to look back and say, I got to superstar director. That's not what's going to make you feel fulfilled. All the money in the world isn't going to make you feel fulfilled. What you do in this world is going to make you feel fulfilled, right? So I want you to ask yourself how you are exuding some of the Scentsy core values. Okay? I'm not going to have you guys do this quiz that I did with my team, but I want you to ask yourself, and I want you to self-reflect, because our training today is on self-reflection. What worked in 2020, what didn't, and how we're going to make 2021 a better year. So I want you to ask yourself, how many times in the last 5 days have you sent out an encouraging text to someone? Doesn't have to just be in Scentsy. I mean, in general, how many times have you sent out an encouraging text? Think about this. How many times have you sent a Facebook message, a text, something to someone in Scentsy that you don't make money off of? Just because you want to be a good human. Just because you want to tell them that their training mattered to you. Just because you wanted to let them know that what they do matters. To let them know that you liked their picture that they took. How many times in the last 5 days have you said that to someone in Scentsy that you don't get paid off of? Okay? How many times have you told your customers or your supporters thank you in the last couple of days? It's the holidays. A lot of people probably have said thank you a lot. I don't mean a mass thank you on Facebook. I mean an individualized thank you to the people that support your business, your customers. How many times? This one's probably going to sting. How many times in the last 5 days have you posted on your upline's team page? Liking a post doesn't count. How many times have you posted in your upline's team page over the last 5 days? Liking a post doesn't count. Are you giving more than you're taking? How many times have you cheered on another Scentsy consultant? This means in your team page, welcoming them, congratulating them. This also means on Facebook. How many times have you seen people earning incentives or earning a promotion? How many times are you just scrolling instead of actually engaging? And how many times have you actually said, like, if you're giving out condolences to people, like my neighbors had a house fire or someone had somebody pass away, how many times are you actually engaging on those things instead of just scrolling? Because I fully believe that if you are doing these things, that it's going to come back tenfold to you. And I know that for me, I had to self-reflect on it a lot, and it didn't always feel well. But while we're self-reflecting and why I'm asking you these questions, I want you guys to really engage with me in the chat, please, and thank you. What worked really well for you in 2020? Tell me some things that worked well for you. I'm hoping that it's just like catching up and you guys are going to engage. What worked really well for you? All right, following up, online parties, building relationships, using the host join kit, being consistent with my follow-ups. Good. What didn't work for you in 2020? Or what's not working for you anymore? I'm going to tell you some things that worked for me in 2020. Getting a whole lot more consistent on social media. Me, also, something that worked for me was doing online parties. I'm going to be honest, before 2020, I never wanted to do online parties. I really did not want to do them. I really never even offered them because they were a lot. They were a lot. Okay, so some other things that are coming up that people are saying help them. Thank you text, sending thank you cards, following up, showing my face, stuff like that. So things that were not working for you. I'm seeing people say not be consistent, bag parties, paper systems, just throwing up a link and expecting people to order. Yes, guys, so true. Bag parties in 2020, I mean, it's been a rough year, right? Because things had to be different this year because of COVID. So I want you guys to realize that you have to be self-reflective. It shouldn't take a leader questioning you about what's not working for you to change it. Okay? So all of these things that you guys are saying that weren't working for you, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to go ask on your team page? How do I book a party? No one will take my bag. No one's ordering. What are you going to do about it? Because a lot of times, I'm going to be honest, and I know I can speak for the other SSDs on here, people will just post on their team pages and say, I can't do this, or I need help with this. I need blah, blah, blah. Every single thing that you could possibly want to know is on the internet. Welcome to 2020. Everything you could possibly know is on Facebook, is on YouTube, is on your workstation. But you have to go find it. It's so easy to post and ask the question. But almost every single question that gets asked about that, the answers are already there. But a lot of times people just want you to do a new one, do another training, do this, do that. Guys, the reason why these things are put on YouTube and on our team pages and all of that is for you guys. Work smarter, not harder, guys. So I want you guys to realize whatever isn't working for you, stop freaking doing it. Stop continuing to try to do the exact same things over and over and over again and wonder why it's not working. You have to continuously evolve. The way that I sponsored 2 years ago isn't working anymore. I can sit around and feel sorry for myself, or I can go watch some more sponsoring trainings and figure out a different way. So you have to use your resources, okay? How often are you looking at your goals? I don't mean just like you're setting them, because I know a lot of people are guilty of making a word for the year and then they don't even remember what it is 6 months in. Why? Because it's not in their face. Why? Because maybe they only did it because it was asked of them to do in this program. Maybe because it wasn't important enough. You want to know how often I look at mine? Every day. If you don't have something in your face every single day to remind you when you don't want to work, you're not going to get there. If you don't have your word printed out in front of you for you to see every single day, it's not enough. You want to know why? You're not going to feel like it every day. You're not going to want to go do the work. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to lose your drive because a couple of bad days in a row happen. You're going to lose your drive because something tragic happens in your life and you're going to forget why you started. Because at the end of the day, the people that reach their goals are the people that look at them and envision them every single day. You have to do that. And I'm going to share on our page on here when I have mine up. I'm going to share with you here in just like 1 second what I look at every single day. I pulled it down for you guys. But I have to have this thing or these things in my face so that I have to look at it and remind myself when I just want to shop online on my computer instead of going and doing the work. Okay? So my 2020 goals, I made this last year and it's hard to see because I laminated it. It was up here right next to my computer. Annual mentor, annual sales, 10 frontline directors, 15 downline directors, group of 1,000, team of 500, 2,000 PRV monthly, 2 or more new teamies, be consistent, be intentional, and be brave. If I hadn't had those things right here in front of my face, I promise you, there would have been months that I didn't do it because it wasn't in my face. My vision for 2020. These are goals. These were more vision like things. Be debt-free. Vacay with my kids at least twice a year. Start college funds for my kids. Make this my dream home. Create my own schedule, etc. I had these things so that when the days were hard, I knew where I needed to go. And the last one that I did, and it fell behind my desk and I'm not digging it out right now, was I had one and it said action. Because let me tell you, your goals, your vision, your dream, it means nothing if you don't put some freaking action behind it. It means nothing. No one else can do the actions. No one else but you. No one else but you. So once you decide what your goals are, once you decide what your vision is, you need to write down what those action steps are that are going to get you there. You. Not your director, not your sponsor, not your superstar director. Because let me tell you something, if you're setting goals and vision and actions based on what you think that someone else wants, you're not going to keep doing it because it's not yours. Some people don't ever want to stay at home with their kids all day, and that's okay. Some people do. So the actions that I had to write down was to sponsor, train effectively, build leaders, build directors, book parties, coach, build genuine relationships, experiences over things. That's something I have to remind myself of. My kids aren't going to remember all the things that I bought them, but they're going to remember the experiences that I took them on. And then at the bottom, be an extraordinary SSD, be an exceptional wife, and be an easygoing mom. Those 3 things are hard for me. They're hard. My word for 2020 was intention. And I kept going back to that because you've got to be intentional. Last thing, I'm going to talk about what I leave right in front of me so that I can question myself every single day. I leave some questions right there next to my desk. And one of them asks, how are you serving people today? I don't want to go to bed any night of my life and not be able to answer how I served someone. Because that's important to me. And something that hit me really hard that I heard this year that I immediately printed out was, if God answered every single one of your prayers, would it change anyone else's life but your own? I know that sometimes I've been guilty. If God answered every one of your prayers, would it change anybody else's life but your own? I reached a goal, a monetary goal this year. So I pulled that goal down and I upped it. And I printed it out and I put it right there next to my desk. And it's going to sit there until I reach it. But I also have a couple of quotes right there next to my desk as well. You are worthy. I have to tell myself that. I have to tell myself that because just even saying it out loud to myself right now, saying you are worthy, I don't feel it. And we all don't feel it sometimes, that we're worthy. And we question, why am I in this position? What did I do to deserve this? Why am I in this place? Right? I have to put that there to remind myself of that. I also have to put this quote. Do not let a temporary feeling affect your 5-year dreams. Because let's be honest, we all do it, right? You have a bad day and you're like, I'm not going to follow up with that customer. And then you're like, well, I didn't do it yesterday. I'm not going to do it today. Don't be like Chastity. I sat for a year in my feels and didn't do anything, and I let a temporary feeling affect my 5-year dreams, and I probably could have left teaching earlier than what I did. But God didn't tell me it was time. God told me when it was time, and I know that it's time now. But don't let a temporary feeling affect your 5-year dreams. And the last one that I have right here next to my desk is love, serve, grow. Because that is what I want to do. I want to love people, I want to serve people, and I want to grow. So you got to have it. You got to look at it. And the last thing that I have, this is a page that's in the front of my planner. So it is literally the very front of my planner, and it's right here. Guys, I'm telling you, you are so much more likely to reach your goals if you write them down and they're in your face. Anybody can set a goal for 2021 at the end of December in 2020. Are you going to even remember what your goals were in March? Are you even going to remember what your word was in March? Like, you've got to. Pick a word that's going to mean something. I have quotes that remind me of that word, and I wrote down why I chose that word. I wrote down all of my whys. Leaders and people that don't give up, they know their why. They know why they get out of bed in the morning, and they're self-reflective enough to know that that why can change in an instant. Tomorrow, you could lose your job. Tomorrow, something life-changing. Today, in 30 minutes, something could happen to you that could astronomically change your life, and your why would change. Don't be stuck in why you originally joined. Okay, I'm done with the preaching session. Let me talk to you guys about a couple things, and I promise I'm going to get off of here. You are only going to reach your big dreams by helping other people reach theirs. You cannot do this business alone. You cannot get to the top alone. You are going to get everything that you want in life by helping other people. And if you are being selfish and you're making it all about you and you're not looking to try and help other people reach their goals, you're not going to get there. Not because I'm just saying that, but because I truly believe that God is going to bless the people that continue to pull other people up, because that's what I honestly feel like 2020, that is what God has wanted for us to pull together and help each other. And you are and when you look back in 5 years, who cares if you got everything that you wanted if you shit on everybody else? Who cares if you got everything that you wanted if you didn't help a single other person reach their goals? It means so much more to me to have someone on my team or somebody that's important to me get something that they have worked so hard for than it does for me. I want to see other people be successful so much more than I want to see it for myself. That is why everything that I do, I share. Not because I want any type of recognition, not because I really just love, I do love to share just because I'm a teacher. I love to share things, but that's why I share. Because if what I share helps one person, then I feel like my purpose has been fulfilled. But in saying that, you cannot want it bad enough for somebody that doesn't want it for themselves. So it is vitally important for you to know what your people want. Because if you don't know that someone just wants to make $300 and you continue to try and push them to sponsor, and you continue to try and push them to do things that they don't want for themselves, they're going to quit and they're going to leave. So knowing what someone wants is so, so important. I see so many people complain and ask how they can get other people to work their business. You can't. Stop wasting your time. Ask them what they want from this business. And if they say that they want to make $1,000 a month, and you try and coach them and tell them this is what you need to do and they don't do it, let it go. You can't work their business for them. But also, how many of you have actually asked your new team members, what do you want from this business? You need to know that. You need to know if someone just joined to buy from themselves. Or you need to know if someone wants to quit their job. That's the difference. You have to coach those people differently. And there's going to be people also that say that they want these big astronomical things, but they're saying that to you because they think that's what you want to hear. Because at the end of the day, if their actions aren't matching it, you can't drag everybody with you to the top. You can reach down and pull them up, but they have to do the work and continue to pull themselves up. If you're trying to save somebody that fell out the window, surely they're going to try and pull themselves up too and grab the windowsill instead of just hanging there dragging, right? I know that's really not a good analogy, but I can just picture it in my head. If you're trying to pull somebody up that's not helping you do it too, you're wasting your time and you're wasting your energy. So find out why and what they actually want, okay? Now, let's get into what I want to talk to you guys about systems. This is one of my favorite things. There's 2 quotes that Orville says that always have stuck with me. And if you haven't been to Reunion, you need to go. But I literally have a separate section in the notes section of my phone of things that Orville says when he does keynotes. And this is one of them. And it has stuck with me for years. I don't remember which reunion it was, but it was a few reunions ago. People move products. Systems move people. Leaders were born at events. People move products, aka us, right? Systems move people, aka coaching, promotions, etc. Leaders are born at events. If you've ever been to a Scentsy event, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When he said it, I was literally like, boom! Say it again. And it's so true. When I created systems, I get the systems that I use about 1.5 years ago. I created them because I couldn't find anything that was working for me. I couldn't find anything that was working for me. And I said, you know what? No more. I'm done printing out all this stuff from all these other people that isn't going to work for me. So I created my own. Stop trying to do everybody else's system. That's number 1. But I guess this one should have been number 1. But the next thing is, if you don't have a system, stop asking why your business isn't growing. Nothing matters unless you do it consistently. You're not going to do it consistently without a system to hold you accountable. Period. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how many things you think you're going to remember. You ain't going to remember. And nothing matters unless you do it consistently. Period. There are so many books out there on it. So, if you don't have systems yet, you need to get them. That doesn't mean going to a Google Drive and printing it out. That doesn't mean going to Christina Stainbrook's YouTube and printing hers out. That doesn't mean going to the Guide to Growth and Chloe's electronic systems and just doing them. Doesn't work that way, guys. It doesn't work that way. Stop trying to do everybody else's system and find out what works for you. In saying that, you need to keep your business simple and your systems simple. If it's not simple and it's not your learning style, you're not gonna do it. If it doesn't bring you joy, you're not gonna do it. And if you have 5 million things going on and 5 million systems and you're all squirrely and scatterbrained, how in the hell are you going to teach your team to do it? Because every single thing that you do, if you want to grow a team, you need to make your team want your job. And nobody is going to want your job if you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off all day. And nobody is going to want your job if you're making it complicated. The more simple your business is, the better your business is going to be, because it's going to be easy and quick and effective. And if you're spending hours and hours and hours doing things within your business, you're doing something wrong. And you've got to stop trying to be everybody else. You've got to stop. If paper systems don't work for you, move to electronic. If those specific electronic systems don't work for you, find a different program that's going to work for you. But you've got to do it. And that's the problem that I've seen is I created a lot of systems, other people have created a lot of systems, and people just want to click print and do it. And that's not the way that it works. You need a system around each of the 4 legs of success. And I say 4 because I've added self-care. You need a system on how you get PRV. You need a system on how you sponsor and keeping up with sponsoring people, dream team lists, etc. You need a system for coaching, how you're going to coach your people. And you need a system or an accountability for how you're going to take care of self-care. And when I say self-care, that doesn't just mean going to get a massage and a pedicure. That means locking yourself in your room and reading a book. That means listening to a podcast while on your way to work or a training on your way to work instead of listening to music. That means feeding your brain. Because if you're not taking care of you, nobody else is going to, and you can't take care of your team. So when it comes to systems around PRV, sponsoring, coaching, we know that PRV can be like multifaceted, meaning you've got to follow up, you've got to meet new customers, you've got to do those things, but you need something to hold you accountable so that you are doing it every single month. Like I said, if you aren't following some type of system, that is why your business isn't thriving. If you need to figure out what's going to work for you, brain dump. This is something I used to teach my kids in class. And I still do it myself too when I'm trying to write out my to-do list. Write down every single thing that you do for PRV in your business. Write down every single thing that you need to do for sponsoring in your business. Write down every single thing you need to do for all of those things. Organize it by daily, weekly, monthly. You have to do what works for you. I've seen so many people say, well, I just can't get to my customer mail once a week. Then stop. Do it once a month. Stop trying to do it once a week because you see me do it once a week. Stop trying to be anybody else but you. Communicate with your customers that that's when you're going to do your thank you mail. And everybody will be okay. Communication is key, but a system is even more important. And self-care, in my opinion, is one of the most important things. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. Something that I know that myself and the other SSDs do is we feed our brain every day. We feed our brain. We listen to a training, we listen to a podcast, we lift each other up, we share Christian songs that we need to listen to, we share gangster rap songs that we need to listen to. You need to fill your cup with some self-care. Self-care is multifaceted. It's not the same for everybody. Nobody gets to tell you what your self-care is. You need to understand your personality type. Are you an introvert or are you an extrovert? I'm an introvert. I need quiet to recharge. My husband would talk to a wall. Like, you have to know yourself. Okay, so self-care. The last thing that I am going to talk about, and this is something that I have done really well this year, something that I need to do better at in other areas. But, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that question. Okay, what I want to talk about, and this is something that I know a lot of people struggle with, is boundaries. Raise your hand if you struggle with boundaries. Boundaries are hard. Boundaries are things that make a lot of women in particular feel guilty. Boundaries are, they're just hard. But listen to me. You are responsible to other people, but you are not responsible for other people. At the end of the day, every single person that's on this call signed an independent consultant agreement. They are an independent consultant. Something Orville also says is the world owes you nothing. Everything that you do get is a bonus. The world owes you nothing. Everything that you do get is a bonus. Something that I started doing this year, maybe like the end of last year, beginning of this year. If it is not a hell yes, I want to do that, then it's a no. If it's not a hell yes, then it's a no. Or it's a let me think about that. But you are not required to answer somebody right away. You're not required to say yes or no right away. It's your life. You have to wake up and say it. And I want you also to realize this. When you say no to something, you are being nice to yourself, not mean to them. That's self-care. When you say no, you are not being mean to them. You are being nice to yourself and respecting your boundaries. Get in the habit of saying no to the right things. Orville also says this: winners quit things all the time. They quit the right things. Winners quit the right things. So when it comes to setting boundaries, you could quit answering team members after 9 o'clock at night. You could quit being readily available all the time. You're not a 24-hour Walgreens. Winners quit the right things. You can take care of people you love and your team and take care of yourself. But you cannot do all of those things by saying yes to everything. You can take care of all of those things, but you have to have boundaries. You can do anything that you want in this life, but you can't do everything. You can do anything that you want, but you cannot do everything. You cannot be everything to everyone and be nothing to yourself. You can be the kind of person who loves yourself and say no. The more you practice saying no to things that don't align with what you need to be doing or what you want to do, or if you're just mentally done, the more that you practice saying no, the less you will feel guilty about it. Because when I first started saying no, when I first started ignoring all of the people that send me Facebook messages, even though I've said I don't answer on Facebook Messenger, I would feel so guilty. But I stopped even responding because I've made that clear that that's not how I respond to team members. That's not how I respond to team members. You get to choose how you respond. And I keep that for my customers. I felt very guilty, but the more and more that I did it, the less guilty I felt, because I know that I have communicated that over and over and over and over and over again. If you're on my team, my personal team, I've communicated that. I don't like to be communicated with that way. Email me, text me, post it on the team page and tag me. Don't bog up my Facebook Messenger. You get to decide how you're communicated with, when you're communicated with, etc. But you're not going to get better at it, and you're not going to feel less guilty unless you continue to do it. It's a muscle. The more you practice saying no, the less you're going to feel guilty, and the more power it's going to give you over your life. Now, in the realm of saying no, you can't just say no to everything, but you get to decide what your priorities are. You can lead with love and not be available all the time. Okay? It's not like, boundaries are something that I struggled with a lot, and I've done a lot of work on through therapy because of the other things that I've went through in my life. But now, my biggest suggestion to you guys going into 2021, besides setting your goals and setting your intentions, is set your boundaries and be confident in them. And know that you teach people how they get to treat you. So if you're going to set the boundary of having business hours of 7 to 4, don't respond after 4 o'clock. If you set the expectation to not respond, not Facebook message me team questions, don't respond. People may get angry and people may be ugly, but guess what, guys? Those are the people that you needed a boundary from the most. If you've ever been in a relationship, a friendship, a marriage, anything, family, that you've had to tell someone no, or that you're not going to stand for something that's respecting you, and they're throwing a fit, clearly they were the reason why you needed the boundary. If you want to dream big in 2021, you have to have boundaries, but you have to set clear expectations. You have to know what your yeses are and what your nos are, and you have to stand strong and not reward behavior that you don't want repeated. So the reason why I ignore most of those things when it does happen is because if I do respond outside of my business hours, that teaches them that I'm going to respond. Now, if somebody's new or whatever, I may say, hey, post that on the team page. I don't do team questions in my Facebook Messenger. Like, it's okay to redirect people, but make sure that you're being clear and make sure that it's okay to set those boundaries. At the end of the day, something that Chloe taught me a long time ago was when team members are blowing you up or they're asking you questions that you know can be very easily answered, put the 24-hour rule into place. Don't answer them for 24 hours. It's hard. It's not an easy muscle or an easy habit to take over. But if you put that 24-hour rule in place, you follow up with them in 24 hours, and you say, hey, did you find what you're looking for? Most of the time, they're going to say yes. And if they haven't found it, it clearly wasn't that important to them. How many times have you had a team member reach out to you, ask you a question, and you don't see it right away or whatever, and then a little while later, they're like, never mind, I found it. Because there's going to be people that want you to be Google. You're not Google. You're a human. You're a human, and you have your own business to run. So, set those boundaries. Okay? All right, so that is what I wanted to talk about with that. I have a couple things I'm going to lead you off with. If anybody has any questions, please ask them. I will be more than happy to answer them. Yeah, and so Tina says, teach them how to fish. Yes, also, I know this isn't like a leadership training thing, but in 2021, if you want to dream big, you have got to teach your people to be independent from you as quickly as possible. I rarely ever just tell somebody the information unless they're a brand new consultant. I tell them where to find it. or I tell them, ask that on the team page. Because if you're doing something one-on-one with somebody, that's not replicatable. Why not, if you think that a couple people are going to have that question, go on your team page and do a live. Save it, put it on YouTube, work smarter, not harder, because other people are going to have that question. And it's not wrong. And I think that's something that some other people have really felt guilty of, is like, I feel like I'm being a bitch if I say, go ask that on the team page. No, you're being smart. Because if they have that question, I bet other people do too. Why not help other people at the same time? That doesn't mean that I'm not going to be the one to go answer that question on the team page, but I would rather you ask that. Let me give somebody else on the team the opportunity to answer it. And if nobody answers, I can go and answer it. And then there it is. There it is for everybody to see. But if you're doing things and you're not doing it to where it can train other people, you've got to work smarter, not harder. That's why my stuff goes on YouTube. That's why I put things on my team page and I tell people to use the search feature. Because at the end of the day, if you want to grow a big business, you're going to have so many people that you cannot answer all of their questions. And you don't want to do anything in your business for one person that you can't do for 1,000. Because if you have a big goal in this business, that's going to happen. So know that, okay? The last couple things I'm going to leave you with is just a couple of quotes that I have written down. If your mouth is closed, your business is closed. Every day you're not talking to people, your business is closed. Posting on social media is not working your business. It may be marketing your business. It may be staying relevant within your business, but you got to stop posting on social media and expecting everybody and their mama to come to you. It's not going to work that way. Very rarely do people just come to you. People are always watching you. You're always going to see me on social media. You're always going to see me posting those things, but I don't get sales and recruits and build my business just from posting. Very rarely. And I think that a lot of other leaders within this group can agree. Be a legacy leader. What type of legacy do you want to leave for your team, for your family? Leaders know their why. There's no question. So if I walked up to you and I said, why do you do Scentsy? You should be able to tell me. Okay? Daily, consistent action. Chloe talked about this yesterday. You don't have to go do 5 things. You just need to be consistent at the little amount of things that you can do that day. I built my entire business teaching. Leaving before the sun came up, most of the time not getting home till after the sun went down, and still had teaching work to do. I made it work because I knew that I had to. I was tired. I didn't want to go follow up with customers. I didn't want to stay up late and package orders. But if I didn't do those things and I wasn't consistent, I wouldn't be here today. Every single one of us within this group that have reached SSD, that have reached our goals, you don't even have to be an SSD to reach your goals. Every single one of us have done things that we didn't feel like doing because we knew it was going to matter. And honestly, that's when it matters the most. Your will above your skill. Justin has said that. Your will is going to beat skill every single time. Because if you don't have the willpower internally to go do the things that you don't want to do, it doesn't matter how talented you are. Keep growing and keep engaging. You can never stop. You don't get to SSD and stop. You don't stop going to the gym as soon as you get in shape. Engage and be willing to do the things that people don't want to do to have what people don't have. Just like the be the 1% quote. And then this last one is, you're going to have to work hard no matter what you do in life. You might as well work hard at something where you're actually going to be rewarded for your hard work. This is a no ceiling income business. There isn't a cap off I worked on a salary job. My husband's on a salary job. My husband hasn't went for his next promotion at work because of the way their pay scale is. He wants to max out where he's at right now before he goes to that next promotion because of the way their pay scale is. It didn't matter how hard I worked every single day teaching, my paycheck was never going to increase past whatever the pay scale is. That's the most amazing thing about this business. You are in control of your success. You are in control of your paycheck. You are in control of how hard you work. And you get to control whether or not you make $0 or you stay consistent and get everything that you want in life. Your most powerful, this is the last thing I'm going to leave you with, and I heard Jennifer Anderson say this, and it stuck with me. If you can't tell, quotes are a big part of my life, and I promise I'm done talking. This went way longer than what I wanted it to be. Your most powerful business tool is your mind. If your mindset sucks, your business is going to suck. I'm sorry to break it to you. If your mindset's awesome, and you say you're going to get it and get it done no matter what, you're going to do it. Your mind is your most powerful business tool. At the beginning of this month, I had 6,000 points in between earning level 4 of this incentive that we're currently going to. I'm less than 1,000 away right now, and I'm going to earn level 4. And I was 6,000 points away 17 days ago. There for a minute, I was like, no, I'm not going to earn it. It'll be fine. I'll just buy MJ in. And some of my accountability partners were like, Chastity, no. Fix your mindset. You got this. Your mind is your most powerful business tool. So I love you guys. Even if I've never met you before, I love you because love is what's going to change the world. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I am just so excited to dream big with you. If you do vision boards, if you do your quotes, your words, I want to see all of those things on this page. That is something that I am going to be doing next week because I am still taking very much care of my customers and I want to really focus and pray on it. I don't know what my word for 2021 is yet. I think I know, but I'm not ready to share yet. And I am just so very thankful for every single one of y'all, and I am going to pray over your businesses. Love y'all, mean it, and let your light shine.